Get started. He's local and will help you find the right policy to fit your needs and budget. You can Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. That's Lee Cruz New York Life. Protect your family.
Hi, I'm Bill at Wire for USA. If you're looking for internet, TV, security systems, or cell booster systems, why would you look at a company that only gives you one choice for each of these systems? Wire for USA offers it all. Viasat, Hughes, CenturyLink, Dish TV, DirecTV, Wilson Cell Booster Systems, and now Starlink and EchoStar Internet Systems. Starlink and EchoStar are the newest, the fastest, and the strongest satellite internet made. No limit, no contract. Wire for USA has it. Call 605-341-5361. Whatever your home or business needs are, call Wire for USA for the products and the service. You don't need training wheels with our system. Connect to the future with Wire for USA at 605-341-5361. We are hometown, we are South Dakota, and we do appreciate your business. 605-341-5361. See us at our new location, 710 North La Crosse Street in Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
Miami Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel says that everything is on the table when asked if he thought about making a change at quarterback. Dolphins were eliminated from the postseason last night by the Steelers. Tua Tagovailoa went 22 of 28 for 253 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. But McDaniel had this to say earlier today.
The quarterback play last night was not good enough. And so for me, everything's on the table.
Week 16 starts with the Rams taking on the Seahawks on Thursday night in Seattle. Rams head coach Sean McVay said wide receiver Devontae Adams could be a game-time decision because of his hamstring injury. No practice today for Bears wide receivers Rome Odunze and Luther Burden III. Bills have signed kicker Mike Badgley to their practice squad. NBA Cup championship game tonight in Las Vegas, 8:30 Eastern Time. It's the Knicks taking on the Spurs. Former Alabama head coach Nick Saban has purchased a minority stake in the NHL's Nashville Predators. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Tuesday afternoon. Are we ready? We are ready. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. How you doing? Hope you've had a good day. Let's get going on your drive home, wherever you're at across the state. Thanks for making us part of your day and making this show possible. The Nate Brown Show is back on Fox Sports Radio. Our affiliates, Fox Sports Rapid City, KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Welcome in. It is always a great day in South Dakota. You can book that. Tuesday lineup looks good. Some guests across the country and right here in South Dakota. We'll get it going. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, also streaming in a few different spots. I'll tell you, catch us on the radio on your drive home. Be a part of the action there. We love it. Also, go to Twitter. You can watch us live at Nate Brown Show. We are live streaming on X every day at Nate Brown Show. Also, YouTube channel, The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe to the channel. You've got this show. We'd appreciate that. It's really easy access. Live show and archive shows, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Subscribe if you would. And Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports streaming app. More high school basketball coverage on Midwest Sports Plus, and this show live every afternoon. So welcome in across the platforms, wherever you're at. Let's get popping tonight. Who's on tonight? It is a classic Tuesday hitter with Brian Noe, Fox Sports Radio, countdown to kickoff host. I got to get Brian Noe to flip somehow. I got to get him back to reality. He said my Broncos are fake Fugazi. I mean, the list is long. Brian Noe's been smacking them. Will he come to reality that the Broncos are on the verge, a couple of wins away from a number 1 seed, home field advantage on their way into the playoffs? Brian Noe is in, Fox Sports Radio national host, talking ball, you bet. Hey, we got Matt Zimmer tonight live from SiouxFallsLive.com. A lot of FCS talk with Matt Zimmer, his read on the Jacks and Montana State, that whole scene. Matt Zimmer's coming up. He covered the SDSU-Wyoming men's basketball game last night. Cowboys got after the Jacks a little bit at the Pentagon. Matt Zimmer was there. He's coming up, SiouxFallsLive.com. And John Bryce is on. Great guy to have tonight, National College Football football writer, footballscoop.com. A lot of interesting football notes across the college landscape, and John Bryce is in from South Bend tonight. If you want in, we'll get you on the best we can. You bet. Appreciate you being a part of the conversation. 605-720-1067. That's our number. 605-720-1067. Lock it in. The Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch. Stop by this week. Location in Brandon, great. Stop by East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, Pizza Ranch East, and 2 locations in Rapid City. It's the home of everyone's favorite buffet. You know that. The Pizza Ranch, our home. Barron's Wilson text line open. Text the show directly. We'll get those out. 605-720-1067. Be a part of the show on the text line if you can. Question of the day and all the fun stuff. 605-720-1067, the Barron's Wilson listener text line. Going to start today's show with a couple of surprises. A couple of surprises tonight. What does this mean? I'm going to go to yesterday's poll results. Let's talk some FCS. Let's talk some South Dakota State here. Yesterday's poll results are what? Here's the question of the day yesterday, if you missed the show. If North Dakota State were ever to go FBS, do you think Jacks fans would be mad staying in the FCS? Final poll results on the Nate Brown Show. 52% say no, Jacks fans will be fine staying in the FCS even if North Dakota State leaves. Now, we had people say no way, no how on that. Listener text coming in just now saying the Jackson Bison got to be a package deal. And I absolutely believe that as well. But then we get these other people. Who's this guy? Steve. Steve said, no, let NDSU go play in the Egg Bowl by themselves. There's no reward by moving up. So I'm surprised by that. A little surprising results. If you want to sound off on that, you missed Monday's show, hit me up on this. I'll still... Your point's still valid tonight. If North Dakota State were asked to move to FBS, it's that time of year, right? We talk about James Madison, the college football playoff this weekend, and they were just in the FCS 4 years ago. James Madison was in the FCS 4 years ago. If NDSU got asked first, do you think Jacks fans would be mad staying FCS? Our results on the poll, 52% no, Jacks fans will be fine playing FCS. 48% say yes, you'd have to move up and keep the rivalry. I really side that way. Now, here's another thing I'm surprised by, and this came out yesterday from my buddy John Gaskins. You know John Gaskins? John Gaskins was talking to Chase Mason, South Dakota State quarterback, yesterday. And they were talking about, are you going to look at transferring? How does that whole scene look? What does it look like? And Jackrabbit quarterback Chase Mason, the South Dakota guy, Viborg Hurley guy, he said he's coming back to South Dakota State. Never in a million years did he even think about the value and looking at the big check and stuff like that. So he's going to stay at South Dakota State for 2026, and Jackrabbit fans celebrating that. I think Chase is the guy. I mean, that's a good thing. He's a nice player. Now, what's interesting about this whole thing to me, two things I'm surprised about in that news that Chase Mason's going to come back to South Dakota State. I'm not surprised by that itself. I'm surprised by the background of it. Essentially, nobody quite says it, but they're throwing around the narrative that potentially the offers to Chase Mason have been in the $1 million range. The $1 million range. $1 million plus. So how John put it was they have come and will be coming, meaning those offers from the FBS NIL. And people, I think, reference, well, look at Mark Gronowski. We never quite know how much Mark got. We had Mark on the show week in, week out. His last year as a Jackrabbit, and it was great to get to know him and follow his last year with the Jacks. Mark Gronowski went to Iowa and got paid, right? He got some money. We do know that. So now Chase Mason, I think people think, well, he's just, he's a nice player. He's got the build, the measurements, the arm, the speed. I mean, Chase Mason, could he command $1 million or more at an FBS school? And here's the one thing I'm surprised by. Are the top FCS quarterbacks, are there numerous quarterbacks getting $1 million offers from the FBS schools? I mean, is Nebraska losing Dylan Raiola? And are they looking at like one of the top FCS quarterbacks and saying, hey, here's $1 million or more and come be our quarterback? I'm a little surprised if that's prevalent. You're going to say, how naive are you, Nate? I've been around South Dakota college sports and the whole thing. I get it. I understand there's a bunch of money out there. There's a ton of money out there. I'm a little surprised if it's prevalent that they look across the FCS ranks and they say, $1 million for you, $1 million for you, $1 million for you. Is that prevalent in the FCS that the top QBs are looking at it? Because Chase Mason, he was out about half of the year. Chase Mason really doesn't have a big picture of football. Not a ton of snaps there. Was used as a primary runner when Gronowski was here his last year. And then this past season was out for about half of the year with the injuries. And so I am surprised if there's money being thrown out like that right now. Here's the other thing. What about like Ayat up in Montana? He's got, 32 touchdowns, like 8 picks? 32 TDs and 8 picks. Is Ayat, he's a redshirt sophomore. Is he getting offers as well? What about Brungard at Youngstown State? He had 27 touchdowns through the air and 26 on the ground. This guy's got over 50 touchdowns. Brungard said he's coming back to Youngstown State. A little smaller. I don't know if his style of play is quite there, but he's good. And people said, well, he's going to get some offers too. People are throwing that around there as well. Do you think the top FCS quarterbacks now, every year, is it just going to be a thing? Every year, they're getting $1 million plus offers to go FBS. I still believe that's got to be pretty selective. I don't think it's prevalent. Hey, let's just look through the line. Ayat, Chase Mason, Brungard, Youngstown. So let's just look through here and let's throw out $1 million and see if anybody comes. I mean, here's the other thing I'm surprised by, and I'm going to commend Chase Mason on this. I don't know Chase personally. Remember him I remember for sure in high school and all the success he had and the baseball. He went to Nebraska, right, in the story. I don't know Chase personally. I don't know the background totally. People have been discussing this. I commend him on if those offers are there and he is coming back to South Dakota State, I am still surprised by that. Today in 2025, $1 million for a college kid. I don't know I don't care if your folks are doing well. I mean, if they're doing well, $1 million to get you in college. I think all of us would say, all right, I'll come and play with whoever. Honestly, I mean, if you're honest. So those are the two things that hit me from Chase Mason's discussion yesterday with John Gaskins, who I've known for a long time. $1 million, and you're going to say, hey, the brotherhood at South Dakota State's the real deal. The culture's the real deal. No, I get it. That's great. That is outstanding. But again, I think that's few and far between. You got to remember, who was one of the first guys to say, I'm going to turn down FBS. I'm going to stay at FCS. You remember this? Who was one of the first guys? Tucker Kraft. And that always jumped out to me. I had Tucker on the show, and I talked to him. He was open about this. This is before he went NFL and all that, when he was at South Dakota State. He said there's been big offers, 6 figures. He had the 6-figure range. Just tight end, not a QB. I get it. He had 6 figures, and he said, no, I'm sticking with South Dakota State. Now, did he know I'm going to be an NFL draft pick and that whole thing? Maybe, but I still thought it was huge. I still thought there's not a lot of guys that would do that, and Timberlake, South Dakota native Tucker Kraft did, and I thought that mattered. And maybe that's the same story with Chase. What if he has a great year? No injuries, no nothing. What if he has a great year and the offers are flooding in? $1 million changes lives, and I am surprised that Chase Mason would not do that. If you're just being honest today. Let me see. So those two things really jumped out. That FCS quarterbacks could command that. Is it prevalent? Let me ask you the question of the day. Let me throw that out. You give me a sense of the landscape. 605-720-1067. Do you think top FCS quarterbacks now every year are getting offered $1 million or more to transfer? We're acting like this is just monopoly money. I mean, do we think these guys are getting offered $1 million and then they just give them the $1 million and they don't end up starting and then they just ride off into the sunset? Some of these guys that don't make it, they just give them $1 million just for kicks, just to try it out. I find that's a tough one for me. Numerous guys getting that. Potentially Chase Mason has gotten that already, and he's got about a half a year under his belt at South Dakota State. So do you think top FCS quarterbacks command $1 million or more every year now? Yes, there's just so much money out there. No, it can't be that prevalent. What's your answer to the question of the day? 605-720-1067. We'd like to hear from you. Listener text, this can't be. There's no seven figures for these guys. Listener text, no seven figures for these guys. Well, I think there is seven figures for some guys. For some guys, there is. How many of them in the FCS level are getting that much attraction? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I'm trying to figure out today. Listener text, yes, this is out there, but if you don't start, you're not going to get the big bucks. There's a catch to all those transfers you see in the numbers that get talked about. Well, that's the thing, though. How do these NIL deals work? Hey, here's $1 million. Come in and transfer. I mean, first you got to be selected. Then you got to be. They aren't giving you $1 million unless you're the starter. Like Mark Gronowski went to Iowa. We all knew he's starting for Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. End of story. I mean, there was no. He's not getting that offer and not starting, which he did. So you got to get the starting job, and I don't know if there's a ton of guys at the FCS that are having great seasons that, hey, you're going to be our starter for sure. We've seen this, though. What about this Holy Cross QB? Remember the Holy Cross guy, and he went to UNLV? They threw out a big number, supposedly, and then they allegedly didn't back that up, by the way. They didn't back that up on the backside, and then he ended up quitting. I mean, you've seen these stories, so it's not like it's never happened. But how prevalent is it? That's what I'm trying to get down to. Let's see. What are you voting here? Do you think the top FCS QBs are getting $1 million now or more to transfer? You think the top guys are getting that every year? 75% of you are saying, yes, you believe it. There's so much money out there. 25% of you are saying it's not that prevalent. Listener text, it's a big risk not taking the cash. No one should be upset if local kids take the life-changing money instead of sticking around in-state. Those are the two things that jumped out to me. The fact that $1 million offers could be that prevalent. I'm not saying Chase Mason's a bad player. He's a good player. I don't know if I've seen enough yet say, yeah, that's the guy for sure. Here's $1 million. But apparently that's been thrown around. And is it that prevalent in the FCS ranks? Like the Ayat QB at Montana, he's had a huge year. Brungard at Youngstown State, huge year. Do these guys just stick with FCS? Because Chase Mason said, hey, I didn't want to go somewhere new, start fresh. I don't know the system. I don't know the culture. I don't know the program. I get all the reasons not to, but $1 million, 1 million reasons to? Very stunning. Two things that caught my attention. Chase Mason sticking with South Dakota State. He believes in the program that much. What if he has an unbelievable year and they keep calling next year? That's the world we live in. Let's ask John Bryce this. He's on this. National college football writer for Football Scoop. Is it that prevalent that much money is being thrown around to maybe numerous guys in the FCS. John Bryce coming up.
This is South Dakota's sports.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
This holiday season, Renewal by Andersen wants to take a felt gratitude to our valued customers. Thank you for choosing us to be part of your home. Whether you watch the snow or welcoming friends through your front door, we're honored to be part of your story, sending warm wishes to you and your loved ones in the hope that 2026 brings you health and happiness. From everyone at Renewal by Andersen, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
From Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Hey, we're just getting started tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio across the state. The Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you on board. Coming up, Matt Zimmer covers the Jackrabbits and more. SiouxFallsLive.com. We'll talk to Zim straight ahead. Go to Vegas tonight. Brian Noah's in talking ball. Fox Sports Radio, national host of Countdown to Kickoff. Brian Noah's in on a Tuesday. Good lineup tonight. John Bryce getting us started. National college football writer, footballscoop.com. Man, I was on the site a lot the last few weeks. You got to hit it, footballscoop.com. He's on X at John D. Bryce 1. John, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. Always appreciate the chance to visit with you.
I appreciate you, and I started my show with this story about South Dakota State quarterback Chase Mason, and he was discussing yesterday about the potential of offers that have come in for him, and if he and he's decided, I'm going to stay at South Dakota State right now. I've never played to go after the big check, the big money. And they were throwing around that offers have come in the $1 million range and will come in that range. And so I ask you about this, John, right now. I said, are top FCS quarterbacks like a Chase Mason getting offers like this?
They are. They are. Emphatically, they are, Nate. And I can tell you this, it's not just top FCS quarterbacks. Now they're at the upper echelon of that range, like a Mark Gronowski a year ago going to Iowa. It's my understanding he got a 7-figure deal. Trinidad Chambliss got a very nice payday to jump from D2 quarterback to Ole Miss initially as a backup, and then obviously blossomed into a star quarterback. But also, I know with certainty that within the past two portal cycles, there's been FCS offensive linemen who have gotten $600,000-700,000. A couple of them have gotten 7-figure deals from teams. So the money out there is very large, especially if you've proved yourself in some of the larger profile FCS programs. And we know South Dakota State has a great reputation, plays really good football, plays some of the best football in that division, has gone toe-to-toe and beaten FBS opponents. And so it's not, I'm not meaning this in a bad way, but you're not taking a lower-level FCS kid and he's suddenly getting a 7-figure offer. The programs there that we're discussing, Nate, they're almost able to go toe-to-toe with a lot of the G5 programs already, and those have just become developmental grounds for a lot of the power conference teams as they supplement their rosters through de facto and unfettered free agency.
Okay, so what should be our takeaway if money's getting thrown around for some of these top FCS quarterbacks that are in solid programs? $1 million. Now, Chase Mason's a good player. We've watched him. He's only been a halfway starter because he got injured this season. So there's not a big picture of him. And what should we take away here? Just so much money or what?
Yeah, take away so much money. Take away, obviously, his loyalty right now to the program. I know of another FCS program that just was able to retain their quarterback in the face of significant pursuit from power conference teams, and that is Chris Parson, the star player for FCS program Austin Peay. And certainly he's getting some very solid NIL compensation from Austin Peay, but he also left money on the table. He was being pursued by, again, multiple P4 teams, SEC, ACC type teams, and you're just not signing quarterbacks out of the portal right now like that for less than $500,000. And again, the going rate is far more $750,000 to $1 million if you're signing a guy out of the portal and you're expecting him to be your starter. So this is interesting. It's a great development for South Dakota State. I would also imagine that part of the conversation is, you know what, you might be getting offered $1 million right now, but if you come back and start for us a full year and you show people what we know about you, then in a year from now you'll have 2 years of eligibility left and you might get $2 million a year. There's getting ready to be, I'll tell you this, Nate, there's getting ready to be an FBS quarterback in the portal, and it's not Raiola. I'm not talking about him. We know he's going into the portal. There's getting ready to be another high-profile FBS quarterback going into the portal, and the expectation is that he will get $2.5 to $3 million or more when he signs a new deal in January.
Wow. John Bryce on tonight. Good to have him. Footballscoop.com for the best coverage. You don't know Chase Mason. I don't know him personally. We just followed him here. He's a South Dakota kid, so he's played high school football here and the whole thing. Went Nebraska first on baseball and then got out and said he loved football more. Are you surprised that a Chase Mason would say, I'm going to go back for the culture and the program? $1 million is a lot.
I'm not as surprised because of the program, because of the culture, because of the profile, because of the winning, because it's his home state, and most importantly, because he doesn't have just 1 year left. And so it's a little easier, I think, to bet on yourself and to come back to a program and say, this is incredible that people think I'm worth this, but actually I believe I can be worth much more and I can win much more and create a legacy and still be celebrated for sticking around. And so it's nuanced, but I find Chase's situation similar to Chris Parsons' situation at Austin Peay, because I believe he'll be able to come back this coming 2026 season. Austin Peay will be a preseason top 25 team. They'll probably be the preseason favorite or co-favorite to win the United Athletic Conference title and have a chance to play in the FCS playoffs. They're a beaten FBS team this past season. Then he'll have one more season left, I believe, and he'll be able to enhance his profile and probably be a seven-figure player as well for that 27 calendar year. So that's kind of the way I view Chase's situation from afar.
Okay, let's go to the Dylan Raiola deal. I asked this question yesterday. Dylan Raiola on his way out from Nebraska, is that a bad look for the state of the program at Nebraska, or was this a mutual thing?
Yeah, I think if you're just glancing headlines and you see, Nebraska finished 7-5 again, they didn't take the leap forward they should have taken in year 3 under Matt Rule. Now they're losing this guy that had been the highest-rated recruit in program history. Then at the surface, it feels like a image blow for the Cornhuskers. I think in reality, this was much more of a mutual separation. Hey, we were married a couple of years, or we were in this long-term relationship, but we didn't finish it out. Let's just go our separate ways. I think Nebraska feels encouraged about the youth that it has in the quarterback room, and I think Raiola, he moved around a lot in high school, and so I can't say that this is too individually surprising for him. I also can't say it's too individually surprising for that class of quarterbacks that he was a part of that was so ballyhooed a couple of years ago. If I'm not mistaken, I think somebody texted me today and said of the top 20 quarterbacks in that class, more than half of them already have transferred or announced their intentions to transfer.
John Bryce in tonight. Couple more. I'll let him run. Good stuff. Find him at footballscoop.com, national writer. So, John, how many people, you talk to a lot of guys, how many people are upset that James Madison's in and Tulane's in? How many people in the big boy world?
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. And for those folks who might care about kind of the behind-the-scenes stuff, I actually wrote a big feature today on James Madison and kind of what the chaos was like in the immediate 96 hours after they found out they were officially in the college football playoff, how they had to have a couple of their executives fly across country to Oregon to do site visits and then take red eyes home because, oh, by the way, they're losing their coach to UCLA and they're hiring Florida's former coach. That was all happening at the same time. So it's really a pretty fascinating read, but I also would say, people are ticked off. I think there will be some modifications to the language of the CFP selection committee in the future about how that's handled when you have so many other teams that felt they were deserving over both Tulane and James Madison, and a lot of the metrics as well as the national polls favored a lot of those teams. So I think you'll see some changes to it. Exactly what those changes will be, I don't know. I would think they'll still protect at least one Group of 5 team, but then maybe you would have some language that says a second Group of 5 champion would be included if also there was not a 2-loss team ranked inside the top 15 that should go in front of, something like that. I do think there will be modifications made by this. I think that's part of why they pushed back the negotiating window. The CFP committee, the board of directors, was supposed to have already had a final decision about 10 days ago. Instead, they pushed it back till the third week of next month, right after the national championship game. It sounds like there's growing momentum to get to 16 teams in next year's playoff. The consensus is by no way, shape, or form will we be at 16 teams in the playoff any later than 2027.
Okay, so you're saying maybe 16 teams by next year. So if we go down that road, do we have to start a week earlier? Does Army-Navy get moved? What happens there?
Yeah, that's the great mystery, because there are people that say, well, just make week 0 games now the first week of the season, and I just don't know how realistic that is for a number of factors, but health and safety would be chief amongst them, Nate. And I bring that up because we already routinely see games in week 0 having to be delayed for extreme heat, wherever it is. Like we've just seen more weather delays in college football this decade than at any time before, and sometimes it's for severe weather, thunderstorms, lightning, things like that. But other times it's the heat index is climbing too high. So I do think I understand why they say, oh, let's just move the calendar up a week. That settles everything. Well, not really. When are you going to go play Arizona State in the desert the second to last Saturday in August instead of Labor Day weekend? I don't know the answers to those questions. I don't know how they make it look. I would think it involves tweaking the calendar either on that end, or it also could involve changing the way that we approach conference championship games in the sport.
Yeah, I'm wondering what happens to conference championship weekend as well. They've kind of been tabbed as not that important anymore for the big conferences. Last one, where does Michigan go from here? Is Kenny Dillingham in this mix? Is Kalen DeBoer for sure out of this mix? It sounds like Kalen says no way.
Yeah, I would be surprised with everything that Kalen DeBoer has said at this point if he left for Michigan. I do think, Caleb is probably better suited for the Midwest in some ways, but he's done some great things at Alabama. He's got a chance to certainly engineer a very special run. And frankly, I don't think that Kalen wants to dive right into a cesspool. And right now, there's no bigger cesspool anywhere in college athletics than the University of Michigan. So I also think when Kenny Dillingham's been so emotional in talking about what it means to be in the Valley, his wife's from the Valley, his in-laws are nearby. I think he said his brother comes to all of his games, something along those lines. It would be almost Nick Saban-esque at the Dolphins saying, I don't know what to tell you, I'm not going to be Alabama's coach if Kenny Dillingham ended up becoming Michigan's coach. Packers offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich is an intriguing name. He's a Michigan man. Washington head coach Jed Fish is another intriguing name. Their season already completely wrapped up. He certainly fits the bill from a convenience standpoint, from an immediacy standpoint, and from the fact that he has both NFL experience, collegiate experience, and also previous experience at the University of Michigan. And then the wild card is Kyle Whittingham, because it was made very clear last weekend that he's retiring from Utah. He is not retiring from coaching.
Okay, that's interesting. Did Whittingham get mad about the private equity partnership at Utah or what?
I don't have any information of that. He had targeted this year as making a decision. Utah announced a year ago. Well, Utah announced maybe 2 years ago that Morgan Scalley would be the head coach in waiting, and then Whittingham announced last year that he was coming back for one more year, and then he'd make an ultimate decision. So I don't think this was a private equity anger deal or anything like that. I just think, he's to his credit, he is a unicorn right now in college athletics, both he and Kirk Ferentz, and they both had great rebound seasons this year. I think Whittingham realizes staying any longer in this era of college football, it's so much harder to sustain. You just run the risk of ruining your legacy, and his legacy right now is the greatest football coach in the history of Utah football.
Great stuff tonight from John Bryce. He's working, man, national writer for footballscoop.com. Give him a follow at John D. Bryce 1 at FCS Fans. Great story. I saw that on James Madison and their preparation for the college football playoff. It's up there, footballscoop.com. John, I appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate you, Nate. Let's go break a little SEC news, and I'll talk to you again soon.
I appreciate that. All right, I'm ready. John Bryce on footballscoop.com. He just said some big quarterback's getting ready to go to the portal. He's going to get $2.5 to $3 million. Is that what he's talking? Is that what he's talking about out of the SEC? Stay tuned. John Bryce with the tease, the nice tease. That's good stuff. John Bryce, national college football writer, one of the best in the country. Footballscoop.com. And a big point of that segment there, if you just joined us at the end, he corroborated through some sources. He's talked to agents, he's talked to coaches, that yes, Chase Mason was getting offers, high numbers. This sent a text at 7 figures, and they sent it back, yes. 7 figures? Yes. So, very interesting deal, and I'm still surprised. But my surprise, I wouldn't be more surprised if I woke up tomorrow morning with my head sewn to the carpet, right, Russ? But that Chase Mason getting that number that's offered and then staying with South Dakota State even. And I understand the reasons and the whole thing. Boy, it's something in today's world. That is some decision in today's world. Wow. Good stuff. Coming right back, let's go to Matt Zimmer, SiouxFallsLive.com. A lot to discuss from the FCS side. Matt Zimmer's on the way.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
This holiday season, Renewal by Andersen wants to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to our valued customers. Thank you for choosing us to be part of your home. Whether you're peeking out your window to watch the snow or welcoming friends through your front door, we're honored to be part of your story, sending warm wishes to you and your loved ones in the hope that 2026 brings you health and happiness. From everyone at Renewal by Andersen, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Hey, good stuff tonight. Thanks for being a part of it, making the show possible. The Nate Brown Show is on across South Dakota. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio, our affiliates, KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and live on Fox Sports Rapid City. We're powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union, my family's banking partner. I'm telling you, make the switch. It's easy to do, great rates, personal, business. They take care of everything. I love the convenience. I love the technology. I got the mobile app on my phone. Switch from your my last bank, and it was great. So it's an easy thing to become a member. BHFCU.com. 18 locations across South Dakota from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. That's BHFCU.com. I really enjoy it. I think you'd like it. Really easy to get started. Become a member at bhfcu.com. Hey, Matt Zimmer's on tonight. He was covering some basketball last night. I think he's done with football for now, unfortunately. SiouxFallsLive.com, sports writer. And he's on X at Matt J. Zimmer. Matt, how are you?
I'm good, Nate. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Let's start with last night. Jackrabbits lose to Wyoming at the Pentagon. What'd you think of Wyoming and Sundance Wicks here, and I guess the Jacks this year?
Wyoming looked really good, and that wasn't surprising. They came in with a good record. You know, they played Texas A&M, or was it Texas Tech? I can't remember which. One of them really tough, had a good schedule. I mean, they looked like they were going to be a tough out for the Jacks, and they sure were. I mean, they dominated the game. It wasn't even as close as the final score made it look. And not too surprising. You know, they have some good players, and Sonny Wicks has done a good job everywhere he's been. I mean, obviously he's a larger-than-life kind of character, and we saw that both during the game and in his post-game press conference. That was a good opponent for the Jacks to get to come out here. You know, they probably won't get a team like that to come up to Brookings, but they got them to come to Sioux Falls, and that's easily the best non-conference opponent they're going to have in South Dakota this year. So it was a fun night for the fans to get to see a good team like that and not have to, or I guess get to see them in their home state. But like I said, they were a lot better than the Jacks. I don't think it was necessarily an indictment on SDSU last night. Wyoming's just pretty good Mountain West team.
Okay, I was going to ask you, what does this mean for South Dakota State men's basketball? Where are they at? Can we tell?
It's hard to tell. They're 7-6, but they're only 4-6 against D1s, and that's not good. You know, and they're about to go play the number one team in the country. I don't like their chances of winning that one too much, but you know, for better or worse, these Summit League non-conference games, they don't mean anything. You know, they really don't. I hate to phrase it that way, but when you're a one-bid league, all that matters is that conference tournament in March. So you can kind of treat everything from the end of October right up through February as, you know, I don't want to say exhibitions, but as just working towards getting better and not worrying so much about the wins and losses, because obviously you want to win as many games as possible for your fans, for the players' confidence, and just to get as good a seed as you can in the conference tournament, and potentially maybe it makes a little bit of difference in where you would end up in the NCAA tournament if you win your conference tournament. But with where things are at right now, it really only comes down to what happens in March. So you can sit here and go, geez, the Jacks are 4-6, or they don't look very good, or doesn't, you know, their defense isn't very good, or they don't even anybody can score. Well, they got 4 months to figure it out.
All right, we'll see where they're at. I talked to Sundance Wicks last week before the game, and he said that was going to be a measuring stick for his guys. He thought SDSU is a good program, a solid team. He thinks they're going to be right there in the Summit League. Okay, Matt Zimmer on tonight, SiouxFallsLive.com. Let's get into this FCS football discussion. I don't know which way I'm going to go. I got a lot of angles. One, it seems like you and people up north are having controversy of you love the FCS playoffs and Mike McFeely doesn't like you liking the FCS playoffs. What's the real story?
I don't know. I'm not having any controversy with anybody. I'm really not.
What did you mean by I like these? You said these playoffs are really exciting, something like that.
They haven't been boring. I mean, the sort of narrative that the FCS is boring, and I get where that comes from. It's kind of, it feels like it's the same 4 teams every year, and there's a lot of truth to that. But I just think this year's playoffs in a vacuum, or just looking at just this year, have been the opposite of that. You know, I mean, NDSU losing at home in the second round, that's wild. You know, and Illinois State was one of the last 4 teams in, and now they're in the Final Four, got a chance to go to Nashville. And, you know, there are a lot of other upsets so far. You know, North Dakota was a team that we didn't know if they were going to get in. They beat a seeded team. USD goes down to Georgia to take on the number 6 seed and beats them 47-0. A lot of people thought Montana was going to get beat by SDSU. They smoked them and then turned around the next week and smoked USD. There's some good football teams this year. Now, there's some bad teams, too. You know, Mercer losing 47-0 at home as a 6 seed is certainly not a good indictment on them or their conference. But I just think overall it's been a great playoff, and I think that's good for FCS football, and it should be celebrated.
Give me your take on my question of the day. If Mike McFeely got his wish and NDSU was asked to go FBS, if NDSU is asked to go FBS first, do Jacks fans get mad if they have to stay FCS?
Yeah, I think Yeah, I think so. Maybe not right away. I don't think there would necessarily be oh, my God, we got to go. But it wouldn't take long. I think SDSU would definitely miss that rivalry. They're not going to play the game if NDSU moves up. It's not they're going to keep that rivalry going. And NDSU is the biggest brand in FCS. The Jacks would definitely miss that. I think for a little while there would be a little sense of, okay, well, now we're the kings of the hill. And they'd have the potential, obviously, to put a few more trophies in their trophy case. And they can probably do that even if NDSU doesn't move up. But if and when the Bison got that call, I don't think the Jacks would instantly be like, okay, we got to go too, and try to piggyback on with them. There would be a period where the Bison were gone and the Jacks weren't, but I think they'd want to follow them sooner than later.
Okay, here's the age-old argument. Last question on this topic. Missouri State was just in the Missouri Valley. They're now in the Xbox Bowl in the FBS. Would you rather be Missouri State in the Xbox Bowl coming up or South Dakota State getting knocked out at Missoula?
I'd rather be South Dakota State. I think what Missouri State did made a lot of sense for them because they were never going to win an FCS national championship. And I think they recognized we don't have what it takes to beat North Dakota State or South Dakota State. We're in the toughest conference in FCS. Our ceiling is getting to the FCS playoffs. Well, if that's the case, why don't we just go FBS where we know we can probably make a crappy bowl game, and that's exactly what they've done right away. Good for them. That's better for them. I don't think it's the same thing for an SDSU or an NDSU. I'm not convinced that NDSU moving to FBS would be better for their program. The argument we keep hearing in favor it, particularly from the Fargo media, is, well, this is boring. I'm bored. This is boring. I don't want to see these same old teams. Schools don't make their decisions based on whether or not sports writers are entertained. It's about what's best for the program. And if you think that's what's best for NDSU, okay, maybe it will be. But maybe it won't. You look at what the uproar was this year to the playoff field being announced, and everyone's mad. And when I say everyone, I mean the national level. You see all these people mad that James Madison and Tulane are in the playoffs. I mean, what if they decide, you know what, we decided we don't want these group of 5 teams in the playoffs. We're changing the rules. The college football playoff is just going to be the 12 best teams. It doesn't matter where they're from. Well, then all of a sudden moving up to FBS, to me, doesn't seem as attractive. So, there's lots of reasons for certain teams to make the move. These teams on the coast or in the south, Kennesaw State, James Madison, all those teams, I get it. It makes sense. I don't know if depending on how things play out, that an NDSU or SDSU or any of these teams in the FCS, the Montana schools, if a move up to FBS would end up being better than what they have right now. But the kicker is if NDSU went or the Montana schools, SDSU's got to go. Yeah, I think so. And like I said, I think that would happen eventually. There's all these scenarios been kicked around. We've heard people say, why don't they go together? Why don't the Dakotas and the Montana schools, why is there some sort of merger between the Big Sky and the Valley? Or is there going to be some split where the Power 4 schools, or maybe just the Power 2, sort of the SEC and the Big Ten, maybe the top 30 or 40 schools, they break off and form their own semi-professional league, and then everyone else scrambles to make something out of what's left over. We've been kicking around these ideas and these rumors for literal years, almost a decade now. And until any of that happens, everyone's kind of in this sort of holding pattern. And, I understand when you're NDSU and your fans are kind of getting bored with it, and obviously the media is getting bored with it, you kind of look at what a Kennesaw State does or James Madison does and say, well, we want that. Well, you can't necessarily have that because you're in the middle of nowhere in North Dakota. You don't have a conference that makes immediate sense to you. And also, like I said, by the time you make that move, maybe they've changed the college football playoff to where the group of 5 isn't even a part of it, and then it's not as attractive anymore. So there's a whole lot of scenarios. I don't know how things are going to end up. And the beauty of it, Nate, is I don't have to predict how it's going to end up. I just have to cover it when it happens. All right. So I just kind of sit back and watch it and wait and see what happens and do so with great interest. But whether they stay, whether they go, I'm not bored either way.
SiouxFallsLive.com's Matt Zimmer on tonight. Big one before I let you run. Chase Mason told John Gaskins yesterday, I'm coming back to South Dakota State. There was the narrative that there was offers thrown out, but I don't play for the big check. I'm not doing it for money. The culture, the brotherhood, this is the place I want to be. We're talking $1 million. And now I've talked to a national writer who said he's talked to agents and coaches, and they believe, yes, that's the case, that Chase Mason could have commanded 7 figures. He played about a half a year. I'm surprised by that, but you tell me why I shouldn't be.
Because he's a next-level talent. I mean, Mark Gronowski got 7 figures reportedly to go to Iowa, and Mark Gronowski is not the same talent that Chase Mason is. He accomplished more in college, played more, won championships, but Chase Mason is far more of an NFL prospect. He's got arm talent and just physical skills and tools that very few quarterbacks in college football have. And I'm not just talking about FCS. I'm talking anywhere. I mean, Kalen DeBoer told me, he's as talented as anybody I have on my roster. The kid's 6'4", he can run like a deer, and he's got, when you talk about a guy having a strong arm or having a cannon for an arm, this is next level. I mean, I'm not saying Chase is going to be Josh Allen or that he's going to be a first-round draft pick or any of those things, but he could. That's how talented he is. There's a reason he was, recruited by FBS schools to play quarterback and to play college baseball. He'd probably be the starting center fielder for the Nebraska Cornhuskers right now if he hadn't decided he wanted to play football. So I'm not at all surprised to hear that those kind of figures are being thrown out there. And I'm not that surprised that he said no. I mean, he already turned down, like I said, the chance to do some really special things on the baseball diamond because this is what he wants to do and this is where he wants to do it. And I think he looks at people like Dallas Goedert and Tucker Kraft and Mason McCormick and Bryce Lance and some others and says, those guys are able to get to the NFL without taking money from some bigger program to go somewhere else. I can do the same thing.
That's something, man. I'm just saying, in today's world, $1 million, Zim? $1 million? And he's like, I'm good.
I told Tucker Kraft, I was like, dude, take the money. And he's like, I'm going to make the money later. I was like, all right, good luck to you. And he did. He bet on himself and he won, and that's awesome. But, yeah, in a lot of these cases, I look at this and go, hey, man, I'd take the money. That's a lot of money to say no to. You never know when you're going to get injured or something will happen to get in the way. But I, knock on wood, nothing like that will happen to these guys, and I hope it works out for all of them.
Do you think he finishes out his career at SDSU?
Well, this is his last year, so yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you what, man, that's something. Matt Zimmer, SiouxFallsLive.com. He's on tonight. Find him on X at Matt J. Zimmer. Always appreciate you, Matt. Thanks a lot.
You bet, Nate. See ya.
See ya. Matt Zimmer on tonight from SiouxFallsLive.com. Find him on X at Matt J. Zimmer. Boy, interesting stuff tonight. Good stuff tonight. Matt Zimmer says he would rather be South Dakota State in the FCS playoffs than Missouri State jumping to FBS and getting to the Xbox Bowl. What do you say to that? That's the argument. And I've always said this. This is where I play the other side of this. The brand gets bigger when you're FBS. That's what that's all about. I don't care whether McFeely's getting bored or not, or Zimmer likes the FCS playoffs and they're exciting. The brand is bigger at the FBS level. And that's just the fact of the matter. That's the highest level because we know how good the FCS is. But a little secret, outside of this upper Mountain West area, upper plains, nobody cares about the FCS. I mean, that's the big secret nobody wants to throw out there. Montana loves the FCS. South Dakota loves the FCS. North Dakota, they have loved the FCS. You look in the last 20 years, 16 teams have left the FCS. 10 of them have went bowl games. Okay? So you look at it and say, well, we don't need to be a Sam Houston. Don't need to be a Missouri State. It's about the brand. It's about the highest level of football. And I still am going to contend, if you don't want to go now, that's fine. If there's not an opportunity, it's fine now. You better be ready to go to that next level when there's this change in the college football landscape. There will be a change coming, I believe, in the college football landscape, and you better be ready to get in that next level. The FCS has already had Dakota schools and Montana schools, and that's about it. And I understand Illinois State made a run here, and that's fine. UC Davis, that's fine. It's been the Dakota schools and the Montana schools, and that's the only needle movers. And outside of that dominant, those states, The FCS brand is not strong. Just nationally, it is not strong for your institution. And that's really what that's all about. Raising your brand as a state institution and being at the highest level. And athletics is the front porch of your institution. You want them at the highest level they can be at. Let's see here. Lister text coming in. As long as there's a path for the college playoffs, you have to go. NDSU and SDSU brand will move the needle. NDSU and SDSU brand will move the needle. No, I think it'd be really good. I mean, I would love to see South Dakota State, North Dakota State at that level playing Mountain West. I mean, that would be the ultimate. I believe that is better than what they're doing now. And I think Zimmer's still kind of like, no, it's still really, really good. I think it's good. It would be better at the Mountain West level. It just would. It just would. Coming right back, speaking of FCS, I got a quick note here. There's an FCS football program who just hired a new coach, and this guy has 0 college experience. Where did they get him from? Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Want to do more of what you love and earn cash back doing it? With a Visa Cashback Credit Card from Black Hills Federal Credit Union, it's possible. Earn 1.5% cash back on everyday purchases like gas and groceries, and use it to fund your shoe obsession, vinyl collection, or airline upgrade. Plus, spend $2,000 in your first 90 days and get a $200 cashback bonus. Learn more at bhfcu.com/cashback. Offer subject to credit approval. Other restrictions apply.
As the official mascot of Country Hearth Breads and literally made of dough, Lofi would like to put a little more jingle in your holiday this season by giving you a chance to win some dough yourself. Visit countryhearthbreads.com/sweeps and enter today for your chance to win $500 or $1,000. Winners will each receive a check that can be used for travel, gifts, or even Lofi's personal choice, lots and lots of bread and buns for all your holiday celebrations. So get your buns over to countryhearthbreads.com/sweeps and enter today. Good luck.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind warning begins at 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon and remains in effect until 8 a.m. Thursday. Partly cloudy skies tonight with lows around 35. Southwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again tomorrow. Chance for rain. High temperatures reach up to 58. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 52 degrees.
Over $73,000 in cash and prizes are up for grabs this November and December during the Cash Climb at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort. Be here every Friday and Saturday starting at 8 p.m. for your chance to win prize packages from $300 all the way up to $1,000 at midnight. If a winner isn't present, the prize rolls over, making the next drawing even bigger. It all leads up to the grand prize drawings on December 27th. Only at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort in Deadwood. How will your night play out?
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio across the state. The Nate Brown Show is on. John Bryce opened up the show tonight, national college football writer. Good stuff from John tonight on Chase Mason and more. South Dakota State QB announcing yesterday he's coming back to South Dakota State in 2026 and getting it confirmed that he had some big offers to transfer. He's really only had one full year as a starting QB in which he got hurt this past year. And so big offers being thrown around. My question of the day, the first question of the day tonight, do you believe it's now just a thing? FCS top quarterbacks every year are getting $1 million offers or more. You think the top FCS QBs now every year getting offered $1 million or more to transfer? Chase Mason said, I'm coming back to South Dakota State. It's not about the money. I just commend him. I mean, you just don't see this. I thought Tucker Kraft was one of the first guys I thought, man, that decision is something. He's going to stick with South Dakota State, and he had these big six-figure offers. And now Chase Mason, the second guy that says, there was offers, I'm coming back. What do you think FCS quarterbacks can command? Are they getting $1 million now or more to transfer every year? 73% of you say, yeah, there's so much money out there. 27% say it can't be that prevalent. So very interesting. Good stuff from John Bryce tonight. Matt Zimmer just joined us as well. He expanded on that. SiouxFallsLive.com, Matt Zimmer. Straight ahead, the second hour. Brian Noe's coming up, your favorite and mine. Brian Noe is in from Vegas, Fox Sports Radio, national host of Countdown to Kickoff. One note from the FCS today that's probably not getting covered a lot. So the team in Ogden, Utah is Weber State. Now, Weber State's been struggling in football the last few years. It's not like they've been a juggernaut. They've had some good basketball teams. Football's a little up and down. They were in the FCS playoffs not so long ago, though. So Weber State's down the last couple of years. They're in the Big Sky Conference. So here's an interesting announcement that I'm going to bring into South Dakota because we have high school coaches here connected. They've gone on to go to college, like Vince Benedetto, right? Vince Benedetto is the head coach at Sioux Falls Jefferson, and he just got hired to be the tight ends coach at South Dakota State by Dan Jackson. We had Coach Benedetto on when that was announced as Jackson was putting together his staff. Well, how about Weber State today? Weber State's hiring Eric Kerr. Eric Kerr is the new head football coach at Weber State. No college experience at all. You're going to say, what do you mean? He's been a Utah high school football coach, and he's a 7-time state champion. So I don't have to, go through his whole record here, but he won 6 state championships at one school, Corner Canyon High School in Utah. Then he won another state championship at Jordan High. And so how about this? This is the jump. He's going to go from high school head football coach to FCS Division I Weber State head football coach. Just on the surface, what's your reaction? Let me go to a second question of the day on the Weber State hire. Very successful high school coach. No college experience. He's going to go from high school to FCS. Not a position coach, anything like this. And you don't see it very often. There's been a couple of these. What was the guy in Las Vegas? He was at Bishop Gorman, one of the powerhouse programs in the country. He went from high school all the way to UNLV. He jumped from high school to UNLV. That didn't turn out great for UNLV. Didn't turn out great. How about Weber State going to a high school coach? No college guys. I mean, there's a lot of college guys that are working, grinding. I mean, they've been working their way up. And Weber State goes to a high school head football coach, a 7-time state champion in Utah, going to be the next Weber State head coach. Do you think that's the right call? Can you make that jump? Is coaching, or That's a big jump. High school to D1 FCS, big jump. Different job. Question of the day, sound off for me if you would. 605-720-1067. Be a part of the conversation on the text line. Weber State going to a high school head coach. They're going to go from high school to college. Is that the right call? Would you make that? 7-time state champ. Can you go from high school and then just relate the success right into Weber State? They've struggled, by the way, the last couple of years anyway. Can the high school coach hack it at Weber State? The jump, not even, it is a different job, I will say that. But is it too big of a jump? That's my question of the day. Would you hire a high school coach if you're the AD at Weber State? 63% of people are voting, I would hire him. Coaching is coaching, no matter what level. Coaching is coaching. What about if I'm a youth basketball coach? Could I take over at West Central? Could I take over for Coach Hollenbeck at West Central after he goes on a run? Would you hire me? Would you hire me? Not so sure. Let's see. 63% of you say coaching is coaching. You'd hire the high school guy. 37% of you saying that's a big jump. I wouldn't do it. Listener reaction from James. It's like any leadership position. It depends on who he puts around him. If he builds a staff with high-quality recruiters and coordinators, he'll be fine. That's the thing. I don't know how he goes about it either. You're in the high school ranks. Now you got to go to the college ranks. You got to recruit. You got to do the transfer portal. This isn't just Utah high school football. This is FCS. You got to try and get guys in, not lose guys, the whole thing. By the way, his son is a wide receiver on the Weber State team. So they got that element too. So this high school coach, Weber State's hired Eric Kerr. Remember the name. He's going to jump from high school Utah, 7-time state champ, to Weber State. We'll be following that in the Big Sky Conference. His son's a wide receiver at Weber State right now. 63% of you are saying you would do it. Coaching is coaching. Let's get into the second hour. I have some thoughts here on what Joel Klatt had to say today. You know Joel Klatt, Fox Sports college football analyst. Joel Klatt was sticking up for the current college football playoff, and he said this tournament, one we all love, is the dumbest tournament in sports. We'll get into that and more coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Mom, can we please go to Waitiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Waitiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Waitiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WaitikiWaterpark.com.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar amount losses. They prey on vulnerable adults and swindle consumers out of their funds. Scammers befriend the victim, making it difficult for them to see the reality of what's happening. If you have a loved one susceptible to this type of scam, sit down and talk with them about these issues before it happens to them. If you or a loved one have been scammed in this manner, please reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
It's time for Happy Honda Days at Danny Menno Rushmore Honda. Shop the area's best selection of pre-owned Hondas and Honda certified pre-owned. Get financing as low as 1.99% APR on certified pre-owned CRVs, HRVs, and other select models. 1.99. Plus, shop a lot full of used cars, trucks, and SUVs, including 4x4s and all-wheel drives, imports, and domestics. See us at Danny Menno Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com. Length of finance contract is limited. With qualified credit, expires 1/2/26.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
We're talking with Rihanna Wickett at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy for another Elevate Performance Health Minute. Rihanna, as we all get older, one of the most common injuries, pains, back pain.
We see it every day.
There's a lot of things that can cause it, right?
Absolutely. There's a multitude of different things that can cause back pain, whether that's strength or something that you did, you tweaked it. So it's really important that we get you looked at and figure out what's actually causing that, because so many things can cause the different types of back pain.
Okay, so what's interesting about it, you could have pain in the back, but then there's also a problem with your back, and now that turns into sciatica.
Yeah, sciatica, it tends to come down through the buttock into the leg, and back pain generally just stays right within the back. You might have something traveling, numbness and tingling, pain shooting down past the knee even, all the way to the foot. We definitely want to get that taken care of sooner than later.
Back pain relief, sciatica relief. Get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Second hour, ready to go. Glad you're here. Drive home's rolling for you, I hope. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. South Dakota sports talk show from high school to college to the pros. We try and get you covered. Great guest coming up next. Stay tuned for Brian Noe, a Tuesday special with Brian Noe, Fox Sports Radio national host of Countdown to Kickoff. He has to take back the nasty stuff he said about my Denver Broncos. I mean, I'm going to call him on the carpet tonight. Brian Noe is coming up, Fox Sports Radio. He is ahead. A lot of ways you can be a part of the show. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, 605-720-1067. Powered by the Pizza Ranch. Two locations in Rapid City, locally owned and operated. Also, stop by East 10th Street in Sioux Falls and the location in Brandon. That's the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. 605-720-1067 is our number. We also call it the Barons-Wilson text line. If you can't call, you can text and be a part of the conversation. Listener text coming in on South Dakota State, North Dakota State. Should they be looking and ready to go to the FBS? Matt Zimmer said, just hang tight. Everything's all good. Missouri State left the Missouri Valley. They're playing in the Xbox Bowl, but he would rather be South Dakota State right now. Listener text coming in on that. If the athletic directors or presidents in South Dakota and North Dakota and Montana aren't checking in and talking to the group of 5 universities about the upcoming changes in football, that'd be a huge dereliction of duties for those schools. Yeah, it's interesting you say that. You sure would think they've got their ear to the ground. You got to have your ear to the ground. I mean, I wonder if I'll ever be right about one thing in my life, and that's the one thing I'm hanging my hat on. And as I've said it here a long time ago, changes are coming to college football, meaning hang tight if you're South Dakota State, North Dakota State. There will be a new level of college football, and you're going to be with the UNLVs and the Wyomings of the world. There's going to be the big dogs, and then this new level of FBS, okay? That's what's coming, and that's what you have to be ready for. The FCS, we can say it. The FCS is what it is right now. You're just kind of going through the deal, and you better be in the top tier of the FCS. Otherwise, it's really, really bad. So you got to be in the top tier, and which they are. SDSU is. USD's right there. I mean, a nice football season for USD. So that's where things are at, I believe. I do want to say that the college football playoff sounds like they're going to be changing pretty quick. John Bryce was on tonight. If you missed it in the first hour, I want to update you. He thinks they're going to meet after – he thinks the college football playoff committee and members are going to meet after the national championship. And he thinks they're going to try and push to 16 teams by next year. And if they can't get it done with the TV and the scheduling and stuff, no later than 2027. So the college football playoff's going to go to 16 teams. And what does that mean for these group of 5 teams that are in there? James Madison got in there playing Oregon. Tulane's going to play Ole Miss. And by the way, let me put you to the test tonight. I'm going to put you to the test. You FCS football fans, are you going to be watching Montana State on ABC, or are you going to be watching the college football playoff? That would be Tulane against Ole Miss during that time. And then you've got the nightcap. I think that's Oregon and James Madison. And a nightcap, are you going to be watching Illinois State and UC Davis, or are you going to be watching Oregon and James Madison? I just want to put you to the test tonight. And I want you to give me some honesty on that, because I know Matt Zimmer's talked about, the no-name bowl games and the stuff like this. Well, no. James Madison was just an FCS team 4 years ago. They were in the FCS 4 years ago. That's a short time. And now they're in the college football playoff playing Oregon. I don't think it's going to be a good game, but I'm here to tell you, I am going to be watching James Madison and Oregon, right? And you are too, because you want to see. You're intrigued a little bit. Can they compete? I mean, they're in the big boy playoff, and you're going to check in on Illinois State. Hey, they're out of the valley. They've upset everybody. You're going to check in on Illinois State, UC Davis, correct? Or I should say Villanova. So when you're talking about this stuff, it's like you got to make sure that these FCS games are they matter, but only to a small number of folks. The Montana State thing's huge. I mean, Montana's going to be all over that. You should see the ticket prices for that. This is crazy. But you're still going to be intrigued. Can the college football playoff teams, these group of 5 teams, compete? That's what I mean by you want to be FBS if you can get there. That's what I mean by that. You don't want to be FCS and still taking a back seat. Up in this part of the country, we're into it. But even folks in South Dakota are going to be watching the college football playoff games, not really plugged in on every play of Montana State. I'm a Montana guy. I grew up with Grizz Bobcats. I'm going to be checking that out, but I have a feeling I'm going to be watching the college football playoff more. By the way, Joel Klatt said something today. I want to get into this really quick, and I'll get to Brian Noe next. Joel Klatt said the college football playoff is great. You've got the best teams playing. He said everybody wants to see the best teams. We don't worry about some of these smaller teams and stuff. He goes, when college football fans want to watch the best programs, the best players, the best teams. And then he went on to say the NCAA tournament in March, where you got the little guys playing, quote, is a joke. It's the dumbest tournament and the least fair tournament in all of sports. He said, what are we doing? We're allowing small schools like St. Peter's to play Kentucky on a neutral site? He said, that doesn't make sense. And then he's ticking off everybody at the same time. He's trying to say the college football playoff, you want the big brands, the big schools, Ohio State, Alabama. That's what people want, really. They act like they want the little guys. You want the big brands. And then he said the NCAA tournament's the dumbest tournament because the little guys get to take on the big guys at a neutral site, and it's not fair. He said that doesn't reward Kentucky, and you play a one-game deal, and they could get knocked out. I think he's going against what most of you would say, correct? What do we love about March Madness? The upsets. No, it's not the dumbest tournament and the least fair tournament. If you're good, if you're the real deal, the 1 seed, you should not get beaten by a 16 seed. If you're the 1 seed, if you're the 2, you should not be beaten by the 15. End of story. I don't care whether it's a neutral site or not. If you're the real deal, you should not be taken down by the little guys. People are thinking Joel's trying to point to he wants the little guys out of the picture entirely. And people are being loud about that. Shouldn't surprise you, right? They don't really want the little guys at the big table with the big boys. But they're there. 2 games coming up this weekend, and I'm going to be dialed in. I don't know if they're going to be good games or not, but you're going to be watching to see if the little guys can win or compete. Coming back with Brian Noe on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Radio national host. Brian Noe put to the test on what he thinks about the Broncos next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
This holiday season, Renewal by Andersen wants to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to our valued customers. Thank you for choosing us to be part of your home. Whether you're peeking out your window to watch the snow or welcoming friends through your front door, we're honored to be part of your story. Sending warm wishes to you and your loved ones, and the hope that 2026 brings you health and happiness. From everyone at Renewal by Andersen, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Sports, your show from East River to West River. This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Hope you've had a great day. Tuesday edition of the program, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, where it's always a great day in South Dakota. You can book that. We have booked Brian Noe tonight, Tuesday special edition, Fox Sports Radio national host of Countdown to Kickoff, your weekend show, getting you ready for all the big games all season long. He's on X at The Noe Show. Brian, welcome in. How are you?
You know, Nate, I'm great, and I'll tell you what, the next time I'm having a bad day, I'm going to hop a jet straight to South Dakota so then I can have a good day. You know what
love
I mean?
it.
That is the best slogan in America. Always a good day in South Dakota.
You know that. It's the show's motto. Hey, I've got to ask you here about our guy at Fox Sports, Joel Klatt. Joel Klatt, college football analyst. He went on a show today and said everybody wants to watch the big programs, the best players, the biggest brands, the best teams in the college football playoff, and that's what we're going to get when it's all said and done. That's what he said. Everybody wants the best teams. That's who we want to watch. He's kind of referencing James Madison's in there playing Oregon Saturday. Tulane's playing Ole Miss. He said nobody wants the NCAA tournament. He goes, the March Madness tournament is the dumbest tournament in all of sports. What's he talking about here? Does he have a point or not?
Wow, he went in on that, huh?
Hot
Interesting.
take.
No, like
Hot
first off, March Madness is fantastic. Like, let's not get ridiculous here. We love Cinderella stories. We love the upsets. Like, and you've got the little guys getting in left and right in March Madness, and that's part of the magic of it. So I think he's way off on that one. I get his point. Listen, I'll attack this from the standpoint of a Notre Dame fan who was the first team out. I would love to see the Irish in there, but I'll be completely honest with you, Nate. I have zero problem with one seat being set aside for the highest-ranked Group of 5 team. I have no problem with that. I don't know what it is if, like, just one chair of having the underdog, the little guy at the table. I really don't have an issue with that. Now, it's the perfect storm this year because Notre Dame, huge brand, gets left out in the cold, and you have two little guys in there. But it's not like James Madison's fault that they snuck in. It's the ACC's fault for sucking so bad, right? Their champion was a 5-loss Duke team. Otherwise, we would just have Tulane in there, and that's it. But we have Tulane and JMU. And so a lot of people are ticked off about that. And I'll tell you what, Nate, if we get 2 games on Saturday back-to-back where, let's say, Tulane gets boat raced and then James Madison gets crushed, you might have all the little teams, the Group of 5 small conference teams get left out in the cold going forward. So it's a really interesting dynamic. I think it's the perfect storm with Notre Dame out and 2 little guys in there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I'm with you on I'm a little worried about blowout city, and if those small schools don't compete, then everybody's going to be loud come Monday. And they're going to say, see, this is ridiculous. We'll see where that goes. Joel Klatt with a hot take today said the NCAA tournament's actually a joke for some of the small teams to play big schools at neutral sites. Okay, let's go to the NFL. Are you ready? I mean, can you realize that the Broncos have won 11 in a row? And my Broncos, you've been on this train and on this show, and you still say they're fake. You can't say that anymore. They've beaten the Packers, the Texans, the Eagles. The list goes on. Please, where are you at?
Nate, I have some good news for you. I have seen the light. I am not proud to a fault. I can admit when things have been a little bit off, and I can recalibrate. I can readjust.
Oh.
I would like to present a new take and a new angle on your Denver Broncos.
Wow.
If you're ready for this.
I am ready. I'm interested.
The Denver Broncos will not lose a game until 2030 at a minimum. Okay? The way Bo Nix is playing, they are going undefeated until 2030. No, I still don't buy your Fugazi Broncos. A nice win. Great win against the Packers. And, yeah, you beat up on the Texans by a 3-point margin when you knocked C.J. Stroud out of the game. You beat the Philadelphia Eagles on the road, which was a nice win. But, good luck scoring 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter going forward in the playoffs and getting a 2-point conversion. That was a mini miracle by the Broncos. So, no, I haven't bought in. That was an out-of-body experience by Bo Nix. He played great against the Packers. 4 touchdown passes. But he was so locked in, Nate, I don't know if you realize this. He was giving the plays in the huddle while speaking in foreign tongues. That's how crazy his performance was against the Packers. But that is the exception with Hobo Nix. The bum in him will show up and show out too often. He is too inconsistent. And that performance was great, but that's the exception, not the norm. And I don't know what's up with your defense, by the way. Your defense is real leaky lately. Mariota and the Commanders lit them up pretty good. The Packers put up a lot of points, gained a lot of yards. Your defense is a little shaky right now, Nate. I don't know what's going on with that.
Okay, I have to ask you, Brian, who hurt you from Denver? Who hurt you? I mean, I just have to figure this out. You wouldn't hammer these other teams that are 12-2. They're on the front step of the number 1 seed, and it could go through Denver, and you still can't get there with the Broncos. And you think it's all Bo Nix? He's just not going to be that guy.
Well, I don't look so much at who teams have played and beaten. I know that sounds weird to some people. I look at the formula first and foremost. Where, like, it's great you rattled off your, like, quote-unquote impressive wins, but they're barely beating the Jets internationally. They're barely beating the Raiders the first go-round at home, winning 10-7. You know what I mean? Like, so you've had the miracle against the Giants. They had no business winning that game against the Giants, you know. So I can't forget about those duds as well. So I look at the Broncos formula, Nate, and listen, they are a very high floor team. They typically play great defense. I love your offensive line, but what I don't like is you don't force a lot of takeaways defensively. You're getting a little leaky defensively as well. And then offensively, I don't trust your running game. And I don't trust Bo Nix. I know he's made some plays in fourth quarters, and he's been clutch at times. He does some good things. But he's too inconsistent for my taste. His passer rating's still under 90. In 2025, that's a joke. You shouldn't be below 90 as a quarterback. That is, like, you're not even close to upper echelon if that's the case. So he's too inconsistent for my taste. And if that running game isn't working in the playoffs and you need more from Bo Nix, these defensive coordinators with better defenses in the playoffs, they're going to force him to do what he doesn't want to do and what he doesn't specialize in doing. And so I'm betting against him, man. Like, someone's got to emerge from the AFC. Your boys, if they have home field, they've got a shot, but I'm fading them, Nate, and a win against the Packers isn't going to make me reverse course.
Brian Noe is dying on that hill of the Nate Brown Show, and he's going to hold on the Broncos. He's on Fox Sports Radio, countdown to kickoff. I'm going to keep listening to your show and see what you say about my Broncos as the season continues. They have the Jags coming up. Are you going to tell me the Jags are going to come into Denver and beat the Broncos? Come on.
It can be done, Nate. Don't be shocked if that happens. Number 1 rush defense in the league. And then if it's all on Bo Nix, it could get a little dicey right there. Trevor Lawrence has been playing really good football. You know, it's funny, like the Bo Nix believers, they kind of roll their eyes at Trevor Lawrence, like, oh, gosh, here we go with Trevor Lawrence. 3 good appearances. Okay, yawn, right? you could poke holes with both of those quarterbacks, but when Trevor Lawrence is playing well, the last 3 games, which he has, like outstanding, number 1 passer rating the last 3 games in the NFL, they're running the offense through Trevor Etienne. They're really good. Travis Etienne. I always get his brother and him mixed up. Travis Etienne. When they run the offense through him,
wow,
they've been really good lately. So I would not be surprised at all. The way your leaky defense has been lately, you can't be shocked at all if the Jags go in there and win that game.
Oh, come on in. I would be shocked. The Broncos are scared of the Jags. Okay, enough about my Broncos. I know where you stand, Brian Noe. Where do you stand on the Kansas City Chiefs? My question of the day yesterday to the audience was, is the Chiefs' dominance over? I'm not talking about they can come back and Mahomes after his injury and they'll be a playoff team. I'm talking they've been Super Bowl winners. They've been 5 out of the last 6. Last decade, they've been in an AFC championship. So is their dominance over, or is there a Chiefs 2.0 coming?
I mean, I think they are absolutely live to revamp, recharge, and dominate again. I would not sell stock that they can no chance, no how, be dominant. You still have Patrick Mahomes. And, yeah, he's coming off an ACL, but Patrick Mahomes, he's a mobile quarterback. He can move around, extend plays. use his legs and pick up chunks of yards, but he doesn't rely on just sheer athleticism. He's not a Lamar Jackson-type quarterback. He can kill you from the pocket, and then moving outside the pocket and outside of structure, I wouldn't expect that to change just based on a torn ACL. It's not like he's going to become Phillip Rivers back there and can't move whatsoever. So I think when you start with Mahomes and you build around him, I absolutely think they can revamp it and be dominant once again. At worst, I could see them being kind of like the Golden State Warriors, right? Where if you look at the Warriors, how they dominated early on, like the Chiefs, 3 Super Bowls, Warriors won those 3 rings, and then it took a little while, and then they all of a sudden won another ring. I could see that at worst happening for the Chiefs, but like to not give them a chance at dominating again, I just wouldn't agree with that. And also, you look at the NFL, what is dominance? Dominance in the NFL could be 2 straight Super Bowl wins. This isn't the NBA where teams win 6 out of 8 rings, or you know what I mean? Like, it's not like we haven't had 1 three-peat in the NFL. So back-to-back rings, I think they're more than capable of revamping everything, getting a pass rush. Just got to get Mahomes healthy again. And I think he's still the best quarterback in football. So I would not close that door at all.
Here was the bet I made yesterday that Patrick Mahomes would not win 2 more Super Bowls in his career. I said, if the over's 1.5, I'm going under, and you're going over?
I'd go over, but hey, you might be right on that, Nate. I could see it going either way. I would take the over. I completely believe in Mahomes' ability. It's really just a matter of restocking the cupboard around him. You got to tweak some things. You got to get a pass rush. You got to get a more consistent, better offensive line. If they address those areas, I think they're more than live to win 2 Super Bowls from here on out with Mahomes. I would take the over 1.5.
Last one for Brian Noe as I let him run live from Vegas, Fox Sports Radio, host of Countdown to Kickoff. Your Dolphins looked like a mess last night, and the Steelers took care of them. Are the Steelers going to be in this mix, or are they just going to do the Mike Tomlin thing, over 500, first-round exit?
Yeah, I think this is the same old Steelers here. And, how pathetic were my Dolphins. I love Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. When the Dolphins they're huddling up every time. They're down by like 3 scores, and they're just like, let's huddle up on offense. It's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? It made no sense whatsoever. It was just embarrassing. But yeah, the Steelers, I give them credit again. They're going to have most likely another above 500 winning record. But I just don't see them doing anything come playoff time. And we don't even know for sure that they're making the playoffs, right? Like, they have to get past the Ravens and win the division. So they might not even get there. But if they get there, I would not expect them to, make a run in the playoffs. I would bet against them to even win 1 game, even at home. I just think it's a suspect team. They played a lot better run defense last night, which was a good sign, right? The Dolphins have been running the ball really, really well lately, and the Steelers have a very leaky rush defense. They looked a lot better last night. That's a big deal come playoff time if they get there, if they can stop the run. But the way they've looked throughout the majority of this season, man, I would not count on that with a team that can run the ball and maybe throw it as well. Like, let's say you're hosting the Bills, and you can't stop the rush, and then you have Josh Allen to contend with. That's a much different deal than a good Miami running game in Tua. So I would fade the Steelers as well going forward, Nate.
Okay, Brian Noe on tonight. Are you still okay with Mike McDaniel coming back as your Dolphins head coach?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not huge on the idea. I get that they've won a few games. They haven't quit, but he just doesn't make adjustments. That's the routine thing with Mike McDaniel, and he does these head-scratching things. Like, again, why are you not going with a hurry-up offense when you're down by 3 scores? Like, that's as basic as it gets. It was like 5 minutes that Joe and Troy are in the booth. Like, what are they doing right now? And so I'm not a huge Mike McDaniel fan. I get why they would maybe bring him back for another year, but I would be against doing that.
Brian Noe going off tonight on the Broncos and more, and we'll see what happens. He's taking the Jags. I think I heard you say that. You're taking the Jags. Fox Sports Radio countdown to kickoff. I appreciate you, man. We'll talk again.
Always good hanging with you, Nate. And I said, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised about Jacksonville. I haven't fully committed to Jacksonville.
Okay.
We'll
All
see.
right.
I got a little bit of time until Sunday, but just don't be stunned. Okay. If Trevor Lawrence and that rush defense come in and give the people's elbow to Hobo Nix. Don't be shocked about that.
We will be listing that. See, that's a tease. He's not sure. He's not committing tonight. There he is, Brian Noe, Fox Sports Radio. Countdown to kickoff host every weekend here on Fox Sports Radio. Brian Noe, appreciate his time. What happened to him and the Broncos? He is the biggest Broncos hater in the country. The biggest Broncos hater in the country, and that's saying a lot because I know some of you out there listening are close. You're close. All right. Listener text coming in. Hang on Brian Noe. Listener text, Brian has a thing against marginal quarterbacks like Nix and Purdy. Oh, interesting. He didn't like Brock Purdy, does he? He doesn't like Purdy. Listener text, Brian Noe is just upset that your Broncos are winning and his Dolphins suck. Oh, nice. I wish I would have read those while he joined us. Sorry, Brian. Coming right back, hey, there was a House hearing today on Capitol Hill in D.C., It was about youth sports. I think they're missing one thing on this. Coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people get into all kinds of vehicles with loans as unique as them. Trucks, cars, SUVs, we finance them all with local service and rates starting as low as 4.99% APR. That's right, 4.99%. Keep your loan local and find the one that fits you at bhfcu.com. Apply today online or text 605-718-1818 to get started. Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member-owned and insured by NCUA.
Ho, 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 ho. Auto Value has once again teamed up with Toys for Tots to help deliver hope to less fortunate children this Christmas. Now through December 15th, you can drop off a new unwrapped toy or cash donation at any participating Auto Value parts store. Your toy or cash donation will not only help Santa, but also allow one more child to experience the magic of Christmas. On behalf of everyone at Auto Value and the North Pole, we thank you. Ho, ho, ho.
We all know the drill. Packing the car, hitting the airport, traveling all over the country so our kids can play in tourneys in another state. But imagine bringing those tournaments to Rapid City. Year-round entertainment, shopping, dining. Millions in new revenue for Rapid City instead of Sioux Falls, Denver, or Omaha. A yes vote supports the sports complex. We win by showing up and voting yes on January 20th. Join the team at teamrapidcity.com. Paid for by Citizens for Responsible Growth.
Since 1928, Connect Home Center has been proud to serve Rapid City and Spearfish with quality products and customer service that you can trust. In 2000, Connect joined the Mead Lumber family, and now they're taking the next step into their journey. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name from design to finish. Mead Lumber is here for you, as they've always been. MeadLumber.com.
At Renewal by Andersen, 2025 has been an incredible year. As the holiday season approaches, they wanted to take a moment to express their heartfelt gratitude to their valued customers. Thank you for choosing Renewal by Andersen to be a part of your homes, your stories, and your lives. It's been an honor to help make your homes more beautiful and comfortable. You've allowed Renewal by Andersen to be a part of your family gatherings, your quiet moments by the window, and your cherished memories. Thank you so much for letting them serve you. This holiday season, Renewal by Andersen wants to send their warmest wishes to you and your loved ones. May our hearts be filled with joy, your homes with laughter, and your lives with love. Wishing you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and may 2026 bring you health, happiness, and even more wonderful moments. From everyone at Renewal by Andersen, thank you for making 2025 a year to remember, and they look forward to continuing this journey with you. Merry Christmas. Wishing you and your family a Happy New Year from Renewal by Andersen.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, built by Blackburn Foundation Repair. If your home's foundation isn't solid, a lot of things can go wrong. Keep your air clean. They do radon testing. They take care of your house from crawl spaces to keeping your foundation secure, reinforcing joists. It's Blackburn Foundation Repair. Local experts in South Dakota since 1992. Go to blackburnrepair.com. Start there. Protecting homes, protecting families. blackburnrepair.com. Remember it. So this is interesting today. There was a House hearing in D.C. on youth sports. And so we got all sorts of stuff people are talking about in politics. And there was actual House hearing on youth sports. What were they talking about with youth sports in the House of Representatives? It was titled, "The Crisis in American Youth Sports." We get so dramatic. But the crisis, the focus, they had guests there and witnesses, and they were talking about there is too much cost, too many private companies, big companies now getting involved, setting huge prices. And so this isn't like just out of the blue, right? We've talked about it on this show a lot. Youth sports and the pay to play, and do people get left behind? And so Congress is like looking at, what do we do about this? How do we have better participation? Because they see it as we need to be healthy individuals down the road. So if you're in youth sports, it's good for you in a lot of ways, and I agree. So how do we get all kids that want to play sports playing youth sports? And so it's interesting. I've been through this game. I'm in the middle of this game. There's one thing that people aren't really talking about. So if you look at these studies, most of the kids that quit youth sports do it by what age? Have you seen this number? 13. Okay? Most of the kids quit youth sports by 13. And here's how I see that. We have competitive leagues when we're kids. We have rec leagues when we're kids. I mean, there's rec leagues, right? You can play at the Y. You can play rec league soccer. And then there's competitive leagues. There's travel basketball. There's travel volleyball. But there's rec league opportunities for... So younger kids are playing youth sports, I think. And in a lot of communities, you still have rec and competitive. Well, guess what happens at 13? Nobody really talks about this. Then you either stick with it, but it's only serious after that. Nobody's discussing where are the rec leagues or lower key opportunities outside of, hey, I'm either going to be a high school basketball player, and so now I got to get really, really serious. Otherwise, I'm going to bag it. I need to be a really serious high school volleyball player or a club volleyball player. Otherwise, I'm going to bag it. So there's a missing gap, and nobody's really addressing that. And I'm saying, easier said than done, but just keep that in mind, and I'm going to expand on this more. There's a missing gap, and I'm seeing that. You turn 13, you're kind of ending your kid run there, and then we don't have any less serious options, like there's hardly any. You look across the board in sports, you either get serious or you get lost. It's like 13 years old and up, you get serious, and you either make the team, and we're still going to be competitive, and we're going to be high school, and we're going to be club, and we're going to be hardcore. There's not a ton of options for kids that still want to have fun, still want to play. Not a ton of options after that 13-year-old. That's one of the issues, and Nobody's really pointing to that. Coming right back with who's hot and who's not. We'll wrap up the show with 2 thoughts on the Montana State game. Hang on.
This is South Dakota's sports talk show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Deck the halls with holiday scratch, 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 scratch. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Good, 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 good fun, good, good, fun, fun. Give the gift that makes them happy. Scratch, 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 scratch. It's the perfect stocking stuffer. From South Dakota Lottery.
Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play and give responsibly.
At Spearfish GMC Cadillac, we're celebrating the holidays all month long with the best savings of the season. We've received truckloads of new GMC Sierra 1500s with savings up to $6,250. Need more muscle? Check out a new Sierra HD with discounts up to $3,000. If a new SUV is on your wish list, we've got something for every family size and lifestyle with the all-new Terrain, Acadia, or GMC Yukon. Spearfish GMC Cadillac. Shop online at spearfishmotors.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind warning begins at 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon and remains in effect until 8 a.m. Thursday. Partly cloudy skies tonight with lows around 35. Southwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again. Tomorrow, chance for rain. High temperatures reach up to 58. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 51 degrees.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, let's do this. Who's hot and who's not? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Location in Brandon. Stop by tonight. 2 locations in Rapid City. The Pizza Ranch. Who's hot category? Let's go to the Montana State rivalry this Saturday in Bozeman. Look at this. They moved a high school basketball game from Saturday afternoon to Friday night in Montana because everybody wants to watch Montana State. That's my who's hot category. How about that passion? They rescheduled a high school basketball game from Saturday to Friday in Montana for the playoff game. In my who's not category, the get-in price for Montana State. Get-in price over $580. $580. Highest price $3,700. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show, the podcast going up right now.
Text scams continue to rise, and victims who have lost money to these scams continues to increase.